Hi, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys.com, home of technical analysis education. Click the link for a free week trial, no credit card required, and gain access to our multiple live broadcasts daily, community chat room, educational videos, nightly watch lists, and more. Invest in your education and future and join the community today. Hey everyone, doing some requests here looking at the marijuana sector. And these are some companies that I'm not familiar with and was asked by someone on Reddit. So looking at the charts here, we'll start with APH. We'll look at the daily and weekly time frames for everything. And a very clear bullish uptrend, higher lows and higher highs. Nice bounce off the 10-day moving average support the last 2 days. And although it was very high volume, and you see the red candlestick here showing that volume, or the red bar down here, it does show a lot of bulls buying the dip. You can see that long lower wick. So resistance is 65.56 and then 65.77. And if the bulls were to pull back and the bears were to take control and we were to break 64.10, which was the low of the last consolidation, that would be a red flag because then we would have a lower high and then a lower low, and we might be looking at a trend reversal. But we are on the verge of a bullish MACD cross, and if we keep holding all moving average support, the bulls are going to remain in control. And you can see the weekly time frame has been on absolute fire since the start of the year. And need to be aware that consolidation could be coming at any point because of the amount of green we've seen here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 10 of the last 11 weeks have been green. And we can see very healthy, increasing bullish volume, but last week we saw a drop off in that volume. So just need to be aware that consolidation could be due here. The RSI last time we were above 70 on the weekly chart did lead to a big dump, and that happened very quickly, so stop losses are essential. And the upper Bollinger Band resistance has been rejecting the price. We've closed over it a couple times, but the price hasn't strayed too far from that resistance level, so you need to update that on Monday as well. Next, looking at MT on the daily time frame, it's reversing the trend from consolidation. We consolidated August to mid-September, and then we started to break to some higher highs. We're struggling at this resistance here, 625, 631 actually, 631 and 636, and although we saw a gap up open above that level Friday, it was a selling gap up, and we can see we closed at 629, unable to close above 631, which would be a break of the lower high pattern. So we're seeing the higher lows and higher highs attempting to start here, but we need to break over 636, close above that level to be looking up at 659, that next resistance. Weekly chart for MT, you can see it was extremely oversold. Same thing, nice uptrend in 2016, higher lows and higher highs. 10-week support is 606, and looking to continue higher highs by breaking 659 to the upside. We need to be aware of a bearish MACD cross potentially occurring, and the bulls want to hold that middle Bollinger Band at worst case scenario down at 566, but need to see a close above 631, and that would be a good sign for the bulls on Monday. Consolidation volume was low last week. These red days, pretty low volume, so that is a good sign for the bulls. And on the pullbacks, we keep forming higher lows, which shows that uptrend. OGI.V on the Canadian exchange, also very nice uptrend, higher lows and higher highs. A little concerning, this bearish engulfing candlestick on very high volume. There was lots of profit taking going on there, and it's a bearish 3 gap up pattern, and we actually had 4 gap ups in a row. It's showing that the bulls are exhausted to the upside. You can see that gap ups have led to strength, but they've also led to traps, gap and traps. So need to be aware on any gap up, and we might have another one here on Monday because we closed at the high of the day. And these penny stocks, when they close at the highs, very often see a gap up the next day, and lots of times those are gap ups for selling. So the upper Bollinger Band will be support. You need to update that at the open to see if the bulls can maintain that level. And then we're looking up at 242 resistance. The weekly time frame is very strong. Same thing. Or actually, the bounce started at the end of 2015. Higher lows and higher highs, very strong uptrend, but we are a little bit overbought. You can see the RSI has pulled back from the mid-70s to 80 to 80 range the past few times we've gotten there, and we're going to be right at 80 to start this week. So we have not seen an upper wick. You can see the last couple of times we had a big upper wick letting us know that consolidation was coming, but then look back here at the start of August, we had a very strong close on the weekly, a gap and trap on the weekly as well before we consolidated. So we are looking for consolidation. The only thing that might indicate we may stay away from consolidation next week is the huge bull volume that did pour in. So if the volume keeps up, looking at the daily time frame, if we see some nice 3-4 million share traded days, then the bulls can stay in control. But you just want to be aware, looking at the previous history of OGI, that pullbacks occur pretty close to where we are currently standing on the weekly. Last, we've got ACBFF, and it just started trading on the Canadian exchange. We'll look there in just a moment. Very strong uptrend. This is one that I wish I saw months ago. It's very overbought. You do not want to be making an entry at this point. The RSI is 91 on the daily and 93 on the weekly, and we've gone from 40 cents up to 170, over 400% in 2 months. So we are very due for a pullback, and this is the one of the plays that I would just sit back, not play unless we get sufficient consolidation. You can see we bounced off the 10-day moving average support the last 4 or 5 times we've tested it, so that's a potential entry point. But 182 resistance, and again, you don't want to be chasing here because we are likely to see some profit taking in the near-term future. And if we don't, and if it keeps running, that's a play that I'll look at and say, oh well, missed a play. But 9 times out of 10, if you see the RSI this high, you do not want to be buying the stock at that point. So let's now look at it on the Canadian exchange. And I believe it's only been trading for 3 days. So I need to watch how closely it does track the US ticker here, because if we do see a break of 243, we can have plenty of upside on ACB.V. But again, the daily chart on the US ticker is so overbought. If it were to consolidate, I assume the correlation is strong, so we would consolidate here as well. But with no previous price history, or very little previous price history, we have a lack of resistance levels. So we need to be looking at that ACBFF ticker to be gauging those resistance levels. And on the weekly, you can see we are in blue sky breakout mode. So that is, when you're in blue sky breakout mode, the RSI does mean less, and that's because of the lack of previous price history. So you can see the bulls are just exploding to the upside. So that is a factor here as well. But again, plenty of other plays to be watching. Personally, I'm looking at GRNH as a play to be watching this week, and I'm going to, if I make an entry, I'll make a video here on GRNH Monday or Tuesday. But I'm liking the nice healthy consolidation to end the week. The bulls showed up on a little bit of increasing volume. I'm really liking the weekly chart on GRNH because the bounce has already played out a little bit. We saw a very strong bounce breaking the downtrend, and then we consolidated for months and months and months, rejecting from the 100-week moving average resistance 6 times. Now it's very clearly support. We're looking up at 10 cents, the 200-week moving average, and 11.8 the top of that big move. So establishing a base of support, a higher low, and now looking for higher highs. Nice volume, nice bull MACD cross. GRNH is one to watch this coming week. And we'll check back. The sector certainly exciting and heating up, and have had some big gains in the past, but tons of risk out there, and you want to be using stop losses or managing your risk, having a level. If we break X level, I will exit the trade. Otherwise, you get caught holding the bag, and you don't want to let your emotions guide your trading. So thanks for checking in, and I'll be checking back in as the week progresses. And again, volume is the most important indicator. Keep an eye on the dollar volume that's coming in. And it was very clear on the 2014 run that it was big money coming in and no longer just retail traders, as we saw hundreds of millions of dollars flowing into the sector. So I'll check back. Thanks for watching. Thanks for any likes and shares. Have a great rest of your weekend.